Hello, welcome to Hints for Health, a series of podcasts covering areas and issues of concern and interest to global workers and those interested in having optimum health. Join us as we explore topics that affect most of us today and find ways to address potential challenges to your health. So let's join our hosts, Brian and Stephanie Kidman.
Hello. Today on Hints for Health, we will share part 2 of a 4-part series on your immune system, how you can strengthen it so you won't get sick. We have with us Dr. Brian Kidman, a medical doctor, and I am Stephanie Kidman, a registered nurse and a health education specialist. We have a love for all nations and a great respect for you who are giving your lives to further God's mission. We want to help keep you healthy so you can fulfill your destiny. Brian and I believe, as you do, that we are the temple of the Holy Spirit, and it is our job to maintain our temples. Let's begin today by talking about the role of water in keeping this temple healthy. Dr. Kidman, what is the importance of adequate fluids?
Great question, great topic. So if you're not drinking enough water, your body's organs certainly cannot do the job that God created them to do and intended them to do. An example would be if you're not drinking enough water, the kidneys don't have enough urine flow to dissolve certain salts that come through the urine. And if that happens and they're not dissolved, then you produce kidney stones. The needs of our body cells are not fully satisfied, nor can they do the job they were intended to do. As an example, adequate fluids will help with lubrication of the joints. They'll help decrease discomfort with people or for people that have arthritic joints.
And what happens with the flow of lymphatic fluid if we are not drinking enough water?
Our immune systems are much less able to clear out toxins if the flow of blood or lymphatic fluid is too slow. And that's what happens when we're not drinking adequate amounts of water.
And if the lymphatic fluid is moving slowly, I'm guessing the white blood cells can't get to the lymph nodes very quickly to kill the invading pathogens.
Oh, that's right. In addition, these white blood cells, which are the main soldiers of our immune system, our defense system of the body, they're partly shriveled up from being dehydrated, so they can't do their job very well in fighting infections. And furthermore, underhydration, not being hydrated enough, allows toxins and chemicals to stay in the intestines longer, which then leads to increased absorption into your system of those toxins. And then that leads in turn to disease of various kinds, cancer being one of them.
So when you don't drink enough water, it can cause constipation, which can be very uncomfortable. But it is also a telltale sign that you need more water and fiber to move things along so your body can function the way God designed it to function.
That's right.
Is it true that we need about 8 cups of water a day?
It depends partly on how much you're sweating, on the size of your body, and other factors. But in general, if you take your weight in pounds and you divide it in half, that's about how many ounces of fluid that you need in a day.
Okay, so for a 140-pound person, you divide in half, that would be 70 ounces. And then to figure out how many cups, I'm going to divide that by 8. That would come to almost 9 cups of water a day for a 140-pound person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and do all the liquids count?
Well, I would say most all liquids other than caffeinated ones would count as being able to hydrate your body.
And how about fruits and vegetables? Do they count?
Fruits and vegetables, especially certain ones like watermelon, oranges, celery that have a lot of water, are very helpful to hydrate your body. But in figuring the number of ounces of liquid that you need, my understanding is that's in addition to just your diet. It would actually be what you drink.
Okay. Have you heard the adage, colorful foods create a healthy immune system, but browns bring it down? What is in these colorful foods that prevent disease? And what is in the browns or junk food that bring it down? We want to encourage you today to incorporate more superfoods into your diet. If you do so, you can eat an occasional donut or bag of chips, and your immune system can still do its job in warding off disease.
So let's jump right in by talking about eating foods that have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that you've probably all heard of but might not fully understand.
When you eat a donut, your mouth says, but your body has a big job to do, and that is to process the sugar, white flour, and oil.
That's because oxidative stress occurs. Free radicals or unstable molecules are produced in the breakdown process of metabolism that can harm cells and interfere with body cell function. When in excess, these free radicals can cause things such as stroke, diabetes, cancer, respiratory diseases, heart disease, arthritis, the list goes on. But there are ways to modulate the immune system.
Yes, the good news is antioxidants neutralize free radicals, so they can't wreak havoc. They are the superheroes of your body. Notice the prefix anti meaning against oxidization. Less oxidization means less chance of disease. It is when the free radicals outnumber the antioxidants that disease occurs.
Free radicals and oxidative stress are not just affected by the food we eat or don't eat. Air pollution, infections, radiation are a few of the many body stressors in which oxidative stress occurs. We can't always control our exposure to these things, but we can build up our immunity against them.
Antioxidants are abundant in foods that grow as plants or on trees, such as fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. These foods are in their natural state, the way God created them.
Even spices like turmeric and dark chocolate are also known to be really good antioxidants.
The foods that cause oxidative stress are the ones man has altered, refined, and processed in factories and put in packages. Man has also added chemicals to preserve shelf life. Must be why they call them additives.
And man has also tried to make their own stuff that cannot really be even called food, like artificial sweeteners and dyes. Many of these man-made and altered or refined foods are inflammatory.
Inflammatory? What is the role of inflammation in disease?
Well, inflammation is normal, but chronic inflammation has a role in many diseases, especially autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, where the inflammatory cells attack joint tissue, causing damage to those joints.
I read that inflammatory diseases account for more than half of all deaths globally. What foods contribute to inflammation?
We know that browns, things that are brown, tend to bring the body down, like we talked about earlier. But that would include things like fried foods, like cured meats, smoked meats, hot dogs, things that are high in salt, things that are high in trans fats.
So French fries would definitely be culprits, but also foods high in sugar or refined carbs like white bread. In white bread, the healthy part of the wheat has been removed. It's been refined or processed, giving it a finer texture and a longer shelf life, but it removes fiber, iron, and many of the vitamins.
But there are ways to decrease all this inflammation and allow you to eat some inflammatory foods on occasion, underlining occasion.
Yes, that's right. If you exercise at least 20 minutes a day and you eat superfoods, you can considerably decrease inflammation and prevent many diseases.
So what are the superfoods and why are they considered so great?
These are the foods highest in antioxidants that decrease inflammation. They're still in their original God-created state. For example, wheat germ and brown rice still have the germ and bran intact. The germ has the vitamins and minerals you need, and the bran has the fiber that keeps you full and cleanses your digestive system and decreases your cholesterol.
Avocados and almonds are high in monosaturated fat, which lowers the bad cholesterol and triglycerides and raises the good cholesterol, which therefore helps to prevent or reduce heart disease.
And they can control blood sugar levels, which is especially good for diabetics or people with prediabetes.
Another superfood that decreases my chance of having a heart attack and helps stabilize blood sugar is oatmeal. Notice it's a whole grain.
Yep, and then you can add some blueberries and get even more antioxidants.
Yeah, and if I have sardines for lunch, then I'll really decrease my chances of getting arthritis and even cancer.
Yep, well, I know I'm not going to be having sardines for lunch, but I'll have a salmon for dinner and put some broccoli and a green leafy salad on the side.
Can you add a sweet potato?
Definitely, because that is one of the superfoods. And the last one we'll mention is apples. An apple a day helps keep the doctor away. And that is not just an adage, but a truth that can help improve your health.
So let's see if I can list some of the superfoods. Avocados, almonds, broccoli, blueberries, my favorite sardines or salmon, sweet potatoes, wheat germ, brown rice, oatmeal, dark leafy green vegetables. In med school, they used to have an acronym that helped to remember these superfoods. That was ABS-WO, darling, abs, whoa, darling. A stands for avocados and almond. B is for broccoli and blueberries. S is for sardines, salmon, and sweet potatoes. W is for wheat germ, O for oatmeal, and D is for dark green leafy vegetables. So if you add all of these together and you eat these superfoods instead of junk food, you may hear your spouse say, abs, whoa, darling.
I think you made that up.
I did.
Thanks for listening to Hints for Health today. Join us again in the future for this series of podcasts that will help you in your goal of optimum health. This series is created and produced by Compassion Link, an Assemblies of God World Missions International ministry. I'm your host, Neil Ruda. For more information, visit www.compassionlink.org/hints for health and follow us on social media. God bless you.